lions and tigers and books. Oh my. Hi friends, today we are doing something a little bit different. As you can tell, I'm not sitting in front of my bookshelves or in my living room because today we are pursuing some chaos because we are going to look at all of my unread books, essentially my physical TBR. So the other day I went to this cute little New England bookstore and of course I bought some books, and when I came home I realized, oh my goodness, I have no room on these bookshelves left. And because my bookshelves are organized like in a rainbow color, sometimes I'm so afraid to like disturb the piece that I just stick books in there, find a place for them, and then kind of just keep it moving. And when I want to read some new books, I'll just grab based on what titles I see. But I've never really taken like a bird's eye view of all of the books that I haven't read yet, and I think there's like more than 100 here, which is appalling. But listen, a lot of my book lover friends will know that book buying and book reading are two completely different hobbies, and that's okay. If buying books makes you happy, then please go for it, because honestly, especially after the last couple of years with COVID and inflation and the price of these eggs and war and social injustices, I mean, there's such a mess waiting for us outside of our front doors sometimes. So if you can find something that brings you joy and happiness, and then please go for it, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. So for me, part of my joy is buying and reading books, but this has gotten out of control. So I have two goals for this video today. I hope that firstly, I can give you some ideas for some new books. So if you are looking to grab a couple of new books for yourself for the summer or for the next month, then hopefully you'll see some titles in here that will inspire you to pick them up. I have all kinds of genres here, all kinds of age ranges, so there should be something for everybody. So that's my first goal, is to give you some ideas about books. And then secondly, I do want to see, shockingly, how many books I have unread on my shelves so that I can actually start to chip away at them. And when I was taking them down, I actually was so surprised by some of the titles. I was like, I've been dying to read this, why haven't I? So I am excited to see how many books I have, and then make it a goal to read like one or two from this list every month until the end of the year. And at the end of the year, we'll make a comparison video and see how many we've actually gotten through. So thank you for being here, and I think I'm just going to go through them quickly, otherwise we'll be here until the end of time, and nobody has that kind of time available because clearly we have books to read. So let's get into it. Okay friends, I think we're gonna start with the romance genre. So I've tried my best to break this up into genre, so if you are interested in hearing some books based on genre, then you can kind of skip around and figure out what you want to watch in this video. And I thought it would be easier for me to talk about them as well if they're by genre. So I'm gonna start with romance because that seems to be the biggest one. And I've tried to separate it into kind of like fun and flirty romance, and then we have some of our serious romances over here, and then some miscellaneous romance. So let's get started with our fun and flirty. The first one I have here, funny enough, is called Holiday Romance. This one is by Catherine Walsh. This one I bought in January because I was really missing Christmas, and I was like, I'm not ready for it to be done yet. I just want to stay in holiday mode, and I never got around to it, but I think it's about like missing flights and connections and meeting somebody at the airport, so that looks really cute. The next one I have is The Sizzle Paradox by Lily Menon. I think these are two people who do experiments to find like the perfect equation for falling in love, so it sounds kind of cute. Then I have Ramon and Julieta. This is by Alana Quintano Albertson. This is like a take on Romeo and Juliet. Who doesn't love that? I love any kind of take on Romeo and Juliet. And on the front it says love and tacos. I mean, what's not to love? So I think that one's gonna be really cute. And then I have The Cheat Sheet. This is by Sarah Adams. I've read her other two books called When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect recently, and I love those. I know this is like her original, like that everybody loves, and I haven't gone to it yet. I don't know why, but I can't wait to this summer because I love her writing. She's so good. And then we have The Proposal. This is by Jasmine Guillory. I think this has something to do with her like then boyfriend proposing to her at a baseball game, and she doesn't want to marry him, so then she like goes on the run, and this guy kind of helps her flee the paparazzi, and then they start fake dating and fall in love and all that good stuff. So it sounds very cute and summery. Then we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. This is by Talia Hibbert. This is, of course, her YA debut. I think there were some mixed reviews, and I picked it up in February thinking it was going to be like so cute and heartsy and Valentine's-y, and I just wasn't feeling it. So about 10 pages in, I put it back down. But I do hope to get to it at some point. I think it's like friends, enemies when they were friends, or they were friends and then they become enemies and then they become lovers. So it was quite the journey. But yeah, it looks cute, and I do like Talia Hibbert's writing, so hopefully I can get to this soon. Then we have The Love Con by Ceresia Glass. I think this is another type of like friends to lovers type vibes. I think she's had a crush on him for a very long time, and he agrees to be like her fake boyfriend for a TV show that she's on and trying to win a contest. So that just sounds like a really cute setting to be like on a TV show and pretending to be in love. Then we have Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So this is the second book after, I think it's called like Four Aunties and a Murder or a Funeral or something like that. It's a yellow book. I can like picture it in my head, but I can't remember the title. And I really liked that book. I thought it was so cute and funny. I mean, it was about murder, but it was like very kind of cozy mystery type of thing. And the aunties were so quirky and I loved it. I know this one hasn't gotten great reviews, but I think I still want to give it a chance. We'll see. Then I have The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. I recently hauled this one in my bookstore trip that I took, and this is all about like a fake wedding date. I mean, who doesn't love a fake wedding date? I don't care how many times it's been done. I love that trope, and I can't wait to get to this one this summer when I'm on my way to some weddings myself. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I read 2 of Emily Henry's books. I read Beach Read and also Book Lovers, which I loved. And this one and Happy Place, for some reason, I haven't gotten to. I don't know why. I do like her writing. I don't think it's my absolute favorite or my absolute, like, not unfavorite, you know, but I haven't had a chance to get to it. So hopefully this summer I will get to it. I know that's like a cult favorite. Then we have the Bromance Book Club. This is, of course, about some guys who get together in like a book club and they read romance novels and they try to use those romance novels to give them tips for their real life relationships. I love the premise of that, but I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. I've just like not been in the mood. I don't know. So hopefully soon. The Lost Manuscript, Kathy Bonadin, is the next book. So this one is set in Paris, and I think it's about a girl who goes on vacation in Paris, and she discovers like a manuscript, and it also comes with some letters, and I think she goes on this journey to figure out who this manuscript belongs to, and along the way she like meets a number of other people who are affected by this like magical manuscript that's supposed to like change your life. So I don't know, it sounds kind of mysterious and fun and quirky, and who doesn't love Paris as a setting? Okay, I realize this is a mess, by the way, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is making my next video a reorganization of my bookshelves video, because right now they are in disarray and a complete mess. So don't worry about this chaos. We already have some chaos. We're just adding more to it before we reorganize. The next book I have here is Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. This one is about, I think, some like Indian dating matchup type thing, matchmaking type thing. And I am actually of Indian cultural background, so for me this is going to be fun because I've been through that. I've been through people trying to set me up for these like arranged marriages, and oh my god, it is very interesting when you're in it. It's not funny at all because people are literally like treating you like just a profile, and they're just trying to set you up and force you into these relationships. So it's not funny when you're in it, but when you come out of it, you're like, wow, that was like actually comical that this is, you know, a way of life. And it works for some people, and I love that for them. But anyways, culturally, I think this will be fun to read. It's just about being set up and finding your perfect match. Then we have, oh my gosh, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I have not read this yet, but we have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I know this is like such a favorite in the romance community, but I just haven't had a chance to read it because I did read Every Summer After, which people compare this to, and I love that book. I love that book so much. So I kind of don't want to be like disappointed by this one because I love that one so much. And honestly, Christina Lauren is not my favorite author. I have read some of their works and I think they're okay. So maybe that's my hesitancy with not picking this up. And then lastly, on my like fun and flirty, easy breezy rom-com books, we have Best Served Hot. I recently hauled this as well. And this one is, I think, about food critics who are like opposing kind of enemies, food critics, and they're like competing for a spot on, I think, like a show or something, or maybe for a company, I don't know. But I love everything about it. It's set in New York, it's about food, it's about food critics and food festivals, and it just sounds incredible. So those are all of the fun fun and flirty kind of rom-coms if you're looking to pick up a couple of those. Now I'm going to shift over and talk about some more like serious kind of romances. And the first that I have here that's like grabbing my attention, oh my god, that's heavy, is the Addicted series. And I have read the first one called Addicted to You, and I did like it. So don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it. I mean, I know it has some heavy topics and it has like a lot of trigger warnings. Oh my gosh, it's hot. It has a lot of trigger warnings, and I did enjoy the story and how it was set up. It was left on a cliffhanger, and you discover a lot of things about the characters and kind of that found family that they're creating. But for some reason, I just could not pick up the next book. I have no idea why. I know the internet and the entire world is like in love with the series and Lily and Lo, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up, even though I don't have a bad thing to say about Addicted to You. So hopefully when I am in a series mood, I will pick these up next. But after that, I have Alone with You in the Ether by Olive E. Blake, another kind of serious take on love. And I think it deals with some deeper issues like anxiety and depression and things, and just how you can love through having some baggage. I mean, you know, at this point in life, all of us have baggage. And I think it is quite an interesting journey to be able to love somebody else through your own struggles and stuff. So that sounds very interesting, but I've just not been in the mood for something quite so serious. So maybe that's why I haven't picked it up. The next one I have is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Everybody says incredible things about this. I don't know much about it, but I know I want to get to it soon. Then I have Archer's Voice. I know this is another classic that everybody loves, but I think I've been putting it off because everyone says it's so sad, and I just recently like have not felt like being sad, and I think that's okay. So I haven't been picking that up. The next couple of books I have here are some Sally Rooney books. I have Normal People and then Beautiful World, Where Are You? I don't know. Everybody says you either love Sally Rooney or you hate Sally Rooney. And I think I have too many exciting books on my TBR to experiment with an author, if that makes sense. So I think that's why I've not been picking it up recently, because I don't know which category I'm going to fall into, whether I love it or I hate it. And I just don't feel like experimenting right now. There's so many incredible books that I want to get to that I know are going to be amazing. And so I almost don't want to take the chance of like not loving them and then having, you know, wasted some time. So hopefully at some point I will try to pick those up. Then I have Taylor Jenkins Reid's Forever Interrupted. If you have been watching a couple of my last wrap-up videos about the books I've read over the last couple of months, you know that I've been trying to read Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist items, and I have loved her recent works like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six and all those books. But when I started reading her backlist, I was like, wow, I do not like this old stuff. Like, I just have not been impressed. So I think that's why this one's been put on the back burner, but hopefully at some point I will get to it as well. And this is another Taylor Jenkins Reid, Malibu Rising. I know this one has a little bit better reviews, so maybe I'll give this one a chance before I do any of her others. But for now, I am on a hiatus from Taylor Jenkins Reid. Then I have Pride and Prejudice. This is by Jane Austen. I love this version of it. It's the Signature Classics. It's available at Barnes & Nobles if you want it. But I am shocked to say I have not read Pride and Prejudice. Of course, I've seen like a million different like movie and show versions of it. I know the story. Everybody knows the story, but I just haven't read the actual original words, and I need to do that soon. Then I have The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali. I've picked this up like several different times and I just can't get into it. Like, I read the first couple of chapters and in my mind I can like equate that this sounds interesting and I think it's going to be a book that stays with me. But for some reason or the other, whether it's that moment in time or my mood or whatever it is, I just don't keep reading, and I don't know why. Like, it's just like a weird enigma. I have no idea, but hopefully at some point I pick it up. Then we move over to some of these stacks here. I have Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies. So these are the last two books in the Twisted series. I read the first two. I did enjoy them. I am currently reading Anna Huang's like Kings of Sin book, and I read the second one in that series this month, which I'll talk about in my wrap up. But for some reason, all of her books are starting to like blend together for me, and so I think that's why I've not finished this series. But I know these two are everyone's favorite in the Twisted series, and so I'm like, maybe I need to give it a chance and still finish this series. Then I have Radiant Sin and Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. These are some spicy romances, and I know this because I read the first two, which I'm looking at back there, and they were really good. And these are kind of like about the Greek gods, and it's like a Greek god retelling, but in a modern way. And I did like the first two, but I think it was a little too much spice for me, so I had to put it down for a little while. But I do want to keep reading and see how these other Greek gods and goddesses, you know, what their love stories are like in this modern world. So hopefully I can pick those up soon. Then I have Hooked and Scarred. These are kind of the never after romances. I think I have the other one too, but I don't see it back there. I don't know where it could have gone, but anyways, that's not here or there. I think these sound like fun. I love anything to do with Disney, and I've never really read like a kind of darker take on Disney stories, so I think these will be interesting to read. And then I have a little small stack here of LGBTQIA plus romances. So we have The Heartbreak Bakery. This one I think is about like a baker who makes magical brownies and different baked goods that have like an effect on people's moods and relationships. And I just think that sounds like so whimsical. I haven't gotten to it yet. Not sure why. Again, maybe I will actually pick it up now that I'm reminded that this is sitting on my shelves. I'm gonna put it back here. Then I have a series called Him and Us by Sabrina Bowen and Elle Kennedy. So of course everyone loves the off-campus series by Elle Kennedy, and that's why I was inspired to pick these up. I think these are hockey romances as well, and they go together, but these are two guys that fall in love, and I think their story sounds so sweet, and I can't wait to read these. Then I have lastly here Loveless, and this is I think about a girl who discovers that she is asexual. I've never read a book that has to do with that topic, but I know it's something that's like emerging in our world and something that I want to continue to be aware of, so I am excited to pick that one up at some point. Okay, let's rearrange some of these piles so that I can grab them easier. I'll be right back. Let me just rearrange before we get into another set of books. Alrighty, let's keep going. We have a few more romance stacks here before we get to middle grade. So I'm gonna keep continuing on. This is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This is the first and only Mariana Zapata book that I own, and I still have not read it. Can you believe that? I know it's like she is everyone's favorite romance writer for the slow burn, and I've realized I actually kind of like slow burn romances, so I don't know why I haven't gotten to this. I really want to pick it up soon. Then we have In a Jam by Katie Canterbury. I know nothing about this book. It is cute. It's got some raspberries on the front. I've heard good things. That's about all I know. And then I have here the Hopeless series by Colleen Hoover. You guys, just like the rest of the world, I have been fatigued by Colleen Hoover content, and I read some of her books and loved them, and then some of them were really iffy, and then I was like really starting to question some of the like moral and ethical background of some of her characters, and I don't know, I just started getting like really icky about the whole thing. So this is why this has been left on the back burner and I haven't gotten to them yet. I'm sure they'll be really good. People do have good things to say about this one, but I just haven't been feeling very Colleen Hoover-y recently. Then I have Franco and Gus. These are two books by Kim Holden, and this is part of a series that goes along with the book Brightside. Oh my gosh, I read that book earlier this year. It was so sad, but it was so good, and I loved it, and these two books go along with that. I think I've just been so emotionally distraught by that book that I've not been willing to pick these up, even though I don't think these two are sad as well, but I have needed a break from that world. Then I have two Abby Jimenez books, Part of Your World, and then her new release, Yours Truly. I hauled that one recently. Abby Jimenez is supposed to be a really great writer. I'm not quite sure why I haven't gotten to her works yet, but these books are a little bit heavier and thicker than the romances that I usually read when it comes to kind of like a lighter feel. So I know these have kind of serious topics within them, but I think they're supposed to be a little rom-com-y. And so I've just kind of been focusing on other ones and not gotten to those yet. Then I have Final Offer. Oh gosh. Then I have Final Offer by Lauren Asha. This is the third book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Again, I'm not sure why I haven't finished that series. It seems to be some sort of glitch in this matrix. I don't know why I don't finish series. It's like really becoming a problem, but everyone loves this book, so I don't know what's putting me off of reading it. Then I have Lauren Asher's other 4 books. This is her Dirty Air series. This one came before the Dreamland Billionaires. I do like her writing, so I am hoping to get to these one day. And I also have not read like a NASCAR romance, so I think that'll be kind of fun to read. Then I have the remaining Bridgerton books. These are the last 4 kids books, or the last 3 kids, and then a happily ever after kind of epilogue novel. I had to take a break after Eloise's book because I hated that book so much. The first 4 were incredible, but Eloise's book was terrible, capital T, and so I needed to take a break. But now that Queen Charlotte came out, oh my god, if you haven't seen that show, you need to go watch that show immediately. It's so good. I'm feeling like Bridgerton-y again, so maybe I'll pick these up soon. And those are all of the romances I have, so let's get into the middle grade now. Alrighty, now we have this big stack of middle grade to get to, and a number of these I talked about in my middle grade recommendations video, but there are some other titles in here that might interest you, so let's get started. First, I have Kiki's Delivery Service. This is by eeek. Apologies if I said that wrong, but oh my goodness, this is like a cult classic, and I got it thinking I was gonna read it like immediately. I know people love the story, but I haven't gotten to it yet, so hopefully very, very soon. Then I have Never After. This is part of the 13th fairy tale series. I know there's a number that come after this, but again, it's kind of like a remake of the Disney stories. Obsessed with everything Disney, so I can't wait to get to that one. The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell. I think it's about a train that goes to impossible places. What do you know? That's what the title says. But I think it's about a little girl who gets on this train accidentally one day, and she's trying to help save whatever land it is that they're living in, because some really evil like woman is after their world and trying to take over and all kinds of mess. So that sounds very interesting. Then we have Hollow Pox, which goes with Wondersmith, which is a little bit further down, and this is part of the Nevermore series. I loved the Nevermore book, which is the first one. I just haven't read the next couple, but it's a story about this girl named Morgan Crow, and she is kind of cursed and then is whisked off to this faraway land where she could save herself and, you know, really make something of herself, and she has to participate like in these trials to get into the secret society. So it is a really fascinating story. I just need to keep reading the rest of the series. Then I have a couple of the Vanderbeeker stories. So this is one of my most beloved YA series. I love the Vanderbeeker family. It's a story set in New York. There are a ton of Vanderbeeker kids who are always getting into trouble, but they always mean well and their hearts are in the right places. It's a great story of like community and people and just how you can come together to help one another. Very wholesome, very sweet, and I can't wait to keep reading. Then I have the Michelle Harrison series about 3 sisters who are after breaking the family curse that's on them that keeps them from leaving their island. Everyone says incredible things about this series, and I almost am like too excited about reading this, so then I keep putting it off because I'm like, oh god, I don't want to be disappointed. But those books are so sweet and I can't wait to read them. But the next one I have here is the very nearly Honorable League of Pirates. Magic Marks the Spot. This is by Carolyn Carlson. This is like a pirate novel recently for some random reason. Don't be surprised if you see a video come out that is all about like pirates and sea adventures. I randomly feel like reading a lot of pirate and sea adventure books. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. I just get these little qualms and I follow them where they take me, and hopefully this one will take me to a fun reading place. This is Wondersmith, like I said, we talked about. Then I have the 2 Amari books, which I also talked about in that video. I don't remember what this is about, but I think it's about her trying to save her brother who has disappeared, and she discovers like the secret society. There seems to be a lot of like themes of secret societies, and I love that. But anyways, I think these are meant to be really good as well. Everyone has really nice things to say about it. So if you're looking for a new middle grade series that has a lot of adventure and mystery, I think these are it. And then the 2 here are the ones that I hauled in my last book video, Sweet and Sour, and then the Book of Stolen Dreams. This I also got from that cute New England bookstore I went to recently. These just look so sweet. This one's kind of about like a high school like love interest, kind of they meet every summer, and then one summer one of them moves away because something happens. And then this one's a little bit more of an adventure. It's 2 kids trying to save their father who has disappeared and save an evil villain from getting this Book of Stolen Dreams that could, you know, have him wreaking havoc in their world. So these 2 sound really good. I think these 2 I'm definitely going to be reading next on my middle grade reading list. So those are all the middle grade. Let's move on now to some miscellaneous before we get to this huge pile over here, which is fantasy. Alrighty, so the next stack, like I said, is kind of a miscellaneous, I had no idea what to do with them kind of a stack. So there's only a couple and I will go through those now. A couple of the first ones are thrillery kind of books. So the first one I have here is Gillian Flynn, Dark Places. When I read Gone Girl, that book was like shocking to my system. It was so good and I loved it so much that I immediately went out. This was like several years ago. This was like when I was living in London, so maybe like 2014 or 15, and I immediately went out to the bookstore there and I went and got Dark Places and Sharp Objects, which were the other two books by Gillian Flynn at the time. And I read Sharp Objects and it scared the living daylights out of me. Like, it was dark on another level and I was like, I'm gonna put this book down and run as far away as possible. So that's why I never made it to Dark Places, and I don't think I will ever be making it to Dark Places. I mean, I don't know. Tell me if it's incredible and tell me if I should read it, but I was floored by Sharp Objects. I was like, this is too dark. I'm running away. And that's what I did. Then I have Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. That book was really, really good. It was a little bit more serious than I thought a YA thriller would be. I was a little surprised by that, but it was very good and I did like it. And so I'm not sure why I haven't picked this up yet. I think I'm waiting for the third book to come out in paperback so I could just read them back to back, but I know that everyone loves this series and says really good things about it. Then I have a random cozy mystery, Key Lime Pie Murder by Joanne Fluke. I have no idea. I think I was like trying to see if cozy mysteries were a little bit kinder to my soul than thrillers were, because there was like a point where I was reading some thrillers that were like so dark that I was like, you know, I like the mystery element, but this is getting to some really dark places. And so I was like, let me pick up a cozy mystery and see if that satiates my need to read something mysterious, but doesn't scare me to my very core. But I haven't gone to it yet, so we'll see what happens. Then I have The Agathas by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. This is a YA mystery. Think about a high school girl that goes missing and then some other high schoolers who try to solve that mystery using Agatha Christie novels. So sounds like an interesting premise. Then I have, I don't know where the other two are. Oh, I see them here. So then I have the Inheritance Games trilogy. The third one is over there somewhere. And these, I can't wait to read. I know I'm going to love them. I want to do a reading vlog about them. I know I'm kind of late to the party, but I think it doesn't matter. Like, whenever you get to books, you get to books. And whether that's this year or 10 years from now, it can still be just as incredible, even if the community is not talking about it actively. Don't let that deter you. So I am planning to get to those sometime soon. And then I have All the Tides of Fate. This is the second book in All the Stars and Teeth series by Adeline Grace. All the Stars and Teeth were so good. It's set on the sea. It's about all kinds of magical creatures and this like far off place where this girl is trying to take her rightful place as the monarch in that kingdom, but she has to pass some like tests, and unfortunately she fails that test, and then so she goes on a journey to figure out how she can get her magic back and figure out how to, you know, take over the throne. And I haven't finished the series, but I really want to, and I think I will soon, because like I said, I'm kind of in like a piratey mood, so hopefully I will get to that soon. A couple others in my random pile: Sourdough or Lois and the Adventures in the Underground Market. No clue. Not a single clue why I picked this up. It looked interesting. I think I heard one person talk about it and I was like, yep, girl, I am buying this. It doesn't even sound like something I would read. I don't even know why I have that. Then I have My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. This is by Frederick Buckman. I love Frederick Buckman. Frederick Buckman books are so good. I read Anxious People last year. That's one of my favorite books of last year, maybe even my single most favorite book. And that one was just, I mean, I was like speechless after I read it. So he just has a really great way with words. And I know this book is also going to be incredible, but I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. And then the last book in this kind of miscellaneous category is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I know this is a story that has a great take on kind of women and our power and our roles in society and just our abilities to stand up for ourselves. Really incredible book. As I hear, I know it was like the Barnes & Noble Book of the Year last year, so I can't wait to get to this one. I think I'm going to take it on vacation with me next month and read it by the beach. So those are all the kind of miscellaneous books. As you saw, it was like a mishmash. Now I'm going to turn over here and get to our fantasy books. Alrighty, so we are on our last and final category, which is the fantasy category. And I'm going to start with this little stack here, which is my Sarah J. Maas stack here. I am in the middle of 2 of her series, so I am in the middle of the Throne of Glass series, and I'm on the 4th book, so this is the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th book. And then Crescent City, I have not read the 2nd book. You guys, that first Crescent City book had me so confused. The entire time I was reading it, I was like, this is so info dumpy. It's so heavy. I don't think it was what I expected. Like, ACOTAR is like so close to my core. I love that series so much. I went into Crescent City thinking like it was gonna leave me like floored, just like ACOTAR did, and I didn't quite get that feeling. So I think that's why I've been put off from reading the 2nd Crescent City novel, because I thought it was good. I thought the first one was okay. It didn't move me. And, you know, please don't, you know, be in an uproar. We're all allowed to have our opinions. And I think for me, that's why I've been putting it off. But I know people have said really good things about House of Sky and Breath, so I will get to it at some point. I definitely will, because I love Sarah J. Maas books, and I want to see how it goes, because I know she just announced that her 3rd one is coming out next year, so that will probably motivate me to read the 2nd one a little bit quicker. But I just haven't had, you know, that feeling of wanting to read it recently. But the Throne of Glass series is incredible, and I cannot wait to keep reading that one. I'm on Queen of Shadows, and I have loved that series so far, and I can't wait to see how it ends. Then I have this like random stack here of fantasy books that I decided to call like my Halloween fantasy books. So this is like a little Halloween vibe. But we have Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck, and I don't know anything about this except the fact that it's got magic and witches, I think, and I live in the Northeast, so very close to Salem, and it's just like a part and a way of life up here, so I can't wait to get to this during October. Then I have the Wicked series, Kingdom of the Cursed, Kingdom of the Feared, and Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. These books are also another favorite in the community, but for some reason I just feel like I need to read them in autumn. I just get very October vibes from these, so I will be waiting until then to read those. Then I have these 2 books, which are Wild as a Witch and The Nature of Witches. Again, very witchy kind of vibes, which I will save till October. People have loved these as well, and I can't wait to get to them. The next little stack of fantasy books I have here are a little miscellaneous as well. They're not in any kind of particular order or anything. I've just kind of like stacked them in random places. So the first one I have in front of me here is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Laini Taylor's writing I know is like super lyrical and very like poetic, and that sometimes like puts me off, and so I haven't wanted to pick this up or read it just yet, but I know I should give it a chance, and hopefully I will soon. Then I have these 2 books, which are the second 2 books in the Cruel Prince trilogy. So it's The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. This is of course by Holly Black, and I really like the Cruel Prince book, the first one that came in the series, so I don't know why I haven't finished the series. I know everybody loves it, and it's kind of one of the classical like help you get into YA fantasy series, and so I'm not sure I haven't finished it yet, but hopefully I can get to it soon. Then I have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is, I think, to do with like gaming and 2 friends who create this really cool game. I've never really read anything about like gaming before, so it does sound really interesting, and obviously the cover is just so beautiful, and that was part of my deciding factor on buying it, but hopefully it's a good read as well. Then I have Serpent and Dove, only the first book, because I decided to start buying only the first book of series until I read the first book and then decide that I really want to read the rest of the series. And so I picked up only the first one. I know I've heard good things about this too. It's a little dated now, I think, but again, like I said, it doesn't matter. Whenever you get to books, you get to books, and that's okay. Then we have here The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I know this one is kind of fantasy sci-fi-y kind of a mix, and it's about like cities that take on personalities and trying to figure out what personality each city is going to be. And I know this one is specifically about New York City, which I love. I don't know much more than that, and I don't think I want to know much more than that. This sounds like one of those books that you should just like dive into without really knowing what it's about, and it's supposed to like really kind of shock you. Then I have Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. These books are just so beautiful. I love them. But I, again, don't know anything about these. All I've heard is really good things. I heard her writing is amazing, and the story is amazing, and the characters and the plot lines, just a really, really solid fantasy read if you're looking for one. And I will pick these up, I think, after I complete my Sarah J. Maas collection. Then I have Babel by R.F. Kuang. My husband read this earlier this year and said he really liked it. I'm a little intimidated by this book, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds really intense and like really, really just, I don't know, like on a different plane. It sounds like I need to be like in my academic era to read this book, but people have said really good things about it, and I think one day I will get to it, just not right now. Then I have a little stack over here. So I have Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. Again, because I'm in my little pirate era, you'll probably see a reading vlog about that soon. But these I've heard really great things about, and I can't wait to read them. I know this was like a drop everything read when it came out a couple of years ago, and I know people were really, really into it. But I was busy with some other books at the time, so I didn't get to it, but hopefully soon. Then I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Again, another author who writes very lyrically. I have not read any of her books yet. I picked this one up because I was like, I don't really want to start at the back with like The Night Circus or anything. I want to read one of her more recent works, but I just haven't gotten to it yet because I haven't been feeling like in a very lyrically poetic mode. Then I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, another favorite in the community. I don't know why I haven't read these. Seriously, no clue. Actually, as I look around, I don't know why I haven't read most of these, so hopefully I can get to a lot of books in the next couple of months in the summertime, but I know these are some favorites in the community, and I can't wait to get to those. Then I have The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This is by Shannon Chakrabarty. This is the author of the Daevabad series, which I read earlier this year and loved. I love that series so much, so I know I really like her writing, and I really like the way that she writes characters and plot lines. It's all very intricate and very detailed, and I can't wait to read to this one. Then my very last little stack of books here I have is A Venom, Dark and Sweet, and A Magic Steeped in Poison. These two go together. I think it's about a story of a girl. I think it's YA, first of all, and I think it's the story of a girl who brews like magic teas, and I think one of her potions one day like kills a family member, so then she goes on a journey to figure out what's happened and why that's occurred to her family member. And yeah, I think these covers are beautiful, and I'm also looking forward to some of the cultural references about like tea ceremonies and stuff. And then finally, the last two here, I have Belladonna. This is by Adeline Grace, the same author who wrote All the Stars and Teeth duology. Like I said, have really liked that first book, so I know she is a really great author, and I think she's a really good storyteller, and so I know this one is going to be good. But for some reason, again, this one has me feeling very like autumn kind of winter vibe, so I don't think I'll be picking it up anytime soon. And then lastly here, I have Bloodmark. This is book 2 in the Legendborn series. I loved Legendborn. It was so good, and I really am excited to read this one, but I feel like I've been wanting to be in a really good headspace. We've had a lot going on in life recently, and I'm like, I feel like before I pick this up, I just want to be in a very sound headspace and then dive deep into this world. So hopefully I can do that very soon. Well, friends, thank you for sticking it out with me. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and hopefully you got inspired by some of these titles and you'll be picking up some of them. I really want to hear your thoughts. If you do, I can't wait to pick up some of these over the next couple of months and see where we land by December. And this is like utter chaos in front of me, and also in front of where I'm looking, which is my bookshelves. They just look so sad now and so empty. I felt like I was like disturbing a sleeping baby, but now that we're here, I think it's a great opportunity for me to reorganize my bookshelves and hopefully get them into a little bit better of a rainbow. There have been some colors that have been bothering me, so this is a great opportunity. So that's probably going to be my next video. Look out for that. But thank you for watching today, and I'll catch you next time.